Hi, guys. Welcome back to the AMP Podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 12. This is the finale, yes? No. I promised these guys this was the finale, and that's why we're bringing them in.
Well, if we want it to come out around Christmas, that's fine.
No, let's not do that.
Okay.
I wanted to be here for the finale.
Okay.
I mean, I can come back later.
We need to start over, I guess. This particular podcast is called 2 to Tango. This is the AMP Podcast, stands for Agent Mentorship Platform. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Check that like button. Share it with all your family and friends. We'd love this podcast to grow. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Mike Hall, one of our brokers. Ken Fairchild, another of our brokers. We've got 4, even though the episode's called 2 to Tango. And Justin Humphreys, you were coming in with your hair on fire, man. And thanks for the drive.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. 270 was generous to me today. There weren't any wrecks or anything, so I was able to get here. 2 to Tango. We've got our 2 principal brokers here from Red One Realty. It was an exciting day. We appreciate you guys taking the time to join us on the podcast.
As always, our sponsors are Red One Realty, the main sponsor of this particular podcast episode. We've also got Vault Title, Kavita Lending, and Safe Pro Home Warranty. Thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it. Justin, you want to kick us off?
Sure. We've got 2 legends of Red One Realty in the building with us today, and Mark and I really appreciate you guys being here. And I just wanted to start off kind of, if there's people that are Red One agents or AMP agents that are watching the podcast today that may have just joined, I just wanted to kind of recap on getting your guys' opinion of, you've built this incredible brokerage, this incredible brand here in Central Ohio.
Third largest brokerage in the state.
Third largest brokerage in the state. Been around for 6 years, but competing against companies that have been in this business, in this area for 50 or 60 years. So that's a big accomplishment. So I just wanted to kind of pick your brain and see how you guys feel, maybe reflect on the journey a little bit to how we got here. Does it seem like it went by like that, or has it been every moment has been a struggle, or how has it been for you guys as the principal brokers?
It does seem to fly by. When you support this many agents, we stay fairly busy, and we want to go out there and continually get better, provide more value. So it does seem like it has flown by. I was surprised when we came up on our 5-year anniversary that it came up so quick.
Yeah, indeed. It's one of those things, I always remember when I was a kid, people telling me time flies when you're having fun. And it really does show. I often find, I don't know about you guys, but I often find as an adult, I don't seem to have near as much fun as I did when I was a kid. And time flies much faster.
Yeah.
It just keeps going by.
Right. In this instance, though, we really do have fun. In what we're doing and what we're building here and the people we work with and surround ourselves with. So in this case, as an adult, this is one of those unique circumstances where time has flown by the last 6.5 years because we are having fun.
Why did Red One come about? Can you, in a brief, tell us the brief history of Red One? Where were you and why are we here?
Yeah, so we were at another brokerage firm, and we really just believe a lot of the other brokers out there don't give good value to the agents. I am a real estate broker, and I still think you should give me $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 the way technology has really changed things. So we thought we could build a better value, and it seems like we can because lots of agents have come on board.
Yeah.
So by providing all the tools and resources and support that they need, but also reducing that cost, it seems like we're a great value in the industry, and we're really able to help agents build their business.
So you both came into the business and you were agents.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so you experienced, Ken, that high cost kind of model. So is your story similar to Mike's?
It's similar, except I was fortunate enough to start in a low-cost model from day one. But I remember those days, going through school and just going through the booklet after booklet of these high-cost models. And back in school, I'm thinking, well, I'm not spring chicken. This is a matter of time before I have to start my own brokerage because this is just not a realistic business model, in my sense of a normal business model. So, but in a low-cost business model, I ended up finding that I could just grow within that business model, let a company take the overhead, and I think this is what makes it so wonderful for our teams here, is they can be their own business owners. but with the umbrella of a much larger entity to take a lot of the liability, provide the technology, the training, and additional support. But yeah, it's been great.
The admin staff is just outstanding. I have a brief story to tell, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's unique, and I know personally of brokers that have brought their businesses to Red One to relieve some of that overhead, the liability, the headache, the brick and mortar, the costs involved with a lot of that. Gina Warner, one of our AMP leaders, 27 years in the business, had her own brokerage, found that value and came to Red One Realty, and it shows through absolutely. What was your story, Mark?
You guys both mentioned the structure of other brokerages. So real quick, from 2003, I'd started a brokerage with a buddy of mine. You've heard this story.
Yes.
From the time of leaving that, for 18 years, more than 18 years, I presented the agent mentorship platform template. Mike, by the way, is the one that named it AMP, Agent Mentorship Platform, so I have to give you kudos for that. I spent 18 plus years looking for a brokerage that would allow folks like us, people who were experts in real estate that enjoyed assisting, coaching, mentoring people, and I won't name them, but I took it to the big brands. I talked to one of my best friends at the time was a Century 21. I did name that one broker. I couldn't convince any of them, and it just struck me one day. I got tired of banging my head against the wall. Why is this not working? They're not set up to absorb something like an agent mentorship platform. So thank you both very much. It was wonderful meeting you guys going on 5 years ago, and we appreciate you having us on board.
We appreciate having you guys and bringing, the amount of value you guys are able to provide to our brokerage. The reality is, me and Mike and all of our brokers and our administrative team, we're happy and we love helping agents. We can't do it on a one-on-one basis. We have to do, one-to-many. Whereas you guys come into place and then you're able to give that one-on-one coaching that we just can't do. And so that extra level of support that we're able to provide really, I think, allows our brokerage to provide any level of support an agent is looking for in their career.
Experienced or new.
Yeah, I'm living proof of it. I remember when the first Zoom call that Mike and Mark, you guys had introducing AMP to Red One Realty, and I asked a couple questions, and shortly after that got connected with you, Mark, and through AMP my business doubled the next year, and yeah, it's been fun. I had a small taste of that high cost brokerage. I was with another brokerage for about 6 months before I joined Red One Realty. My first deal that I closed, I paid 70% of my commission, and it was just an eye opener of, man, I did all this work, and I got to sit down in an office, and for that I paid 70% of my commission. So Red One was a breath of fresh air for myself and my team leader that came over at that time, and it's been, it's the perfect blend of that low cost and high support. So yeah, we appreciate you, and I love Red One, and I know Mark does too.
Absolutely. We've got two of the principal brokers here with Red One Realty, Mike Hall and Ken Fairchild. Wanted to give a quick shout out to Bob Petty and Michelle Brooks as well. They're the other two brokers of Red One. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Heather Hall and Samantha Lytle. These folks are absolutely outstanding when it comes to the admin piece, and that happens to be Ken's fiance and Mike's wife. So there you go.
Yeah, big shout out to the admin team. They do a great job.
Take us out on a break, or are we going to keep going?
Well, I figured, we talked about a little bit about how we got here for Red One Realty. Anybody that tracks the journey or is part of the Red One Facebook group page, we see the announcements about the expansion of Red One into different states and different regions, different markets. So what's on the horizon for Red One from your guys' perspective over the next year or 5 years?
We have some pretty lofty goals. I think, at least in Central Ohio, our goal is to be the largest brokerage firm by agent count, units, and volume. And I think we'll get there within the next few years. But in addition to that, we don't necessarily have to be nationwide. And I'm not big enough dreamer to think internationally, but we do want to be in most states. And we're already in Kentucky. We're already in Georgia. We're already in Florida. Our LLC is set up in some other states, such as Tennessee, the Carolinas. We're looking for good leaders in those areas. and expand. And I think that's the big key is we want to make sure we have a A player, local broker that we can bring on board, and we're ready to expand.
Yeah, that's great. I know I just saw the announcement about Orlando.
Yes.
And then the other office that we have down there was Tampa, I think, originally. So that's awesome. And here on AMP, we have had the luxury to bring in the Georgia brokerage and start to mentor some of those agents.
Rich and Grace are outstanding. Frankie in Kentucky is
Kentucky
outstanding.
as well. So
your judge of the folks that you're bringing on board is just outstanding. These folks are great. We love working with them. So can't wait to expand into Florida and Tennessee and the other states you guys mentioned.
real quickly, before we move on to our next segment and a commercial break, when you have, I named the episode 2 to Tango because you guys are an awesome combo. When you have two people, two principal brokers especially, there's dynamics involved, right? Mark and I have dynamics. Mark is the expert of philosophy, and he sends me out to do, some of the nitty gritty stuff that some of the more detail oriented tasks maybe. What's the dynamic like? You guys have an incredible banter. I always appreciate your dynamics, but what is that dynamic like for you guys, and what's it like working together?
Here's a setup. Who's Batman and who's Robin?
I mean, the simple answer is clearly I'm broker A, Mike's broker B.
Wow.
However, no, I always, as soon as I throw the joke down, I always completely concede that Mike was my original mentor.
Mm-hmm.
So I was fortunate enough to come into this industry under his leadership. I watched him build the first iteration of our now training program back then, because it was rough when he took over, to say the least. But yeah, we both bring, different dynamics to the table. Mike is much more of the long-term dreamer. He is the technology guru, really sets up a lot of our, all of the tech platforms, bringing us into the new age with AI and upgrading our training program. Whereas I do a lot of the back end things, a lot of the, as you said, the gritty work. But I like doing that. I just like staying busy.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, and there is no ego, in our entire leadership team.
Right.
So it's like, hey, what do we need to accomplish? Who at this week has
Yeah.
time to accomplish it?
Right.
So it's just, it's a really, we talk about it all the time, how extremely fortunate we are to have found each other, that 6.5 years in, I don't know if we've ever had what I would consider a real disagreement.
You guys complement each other really well.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a real disagreement either. And you said it earlier that we were a good judge of characters, but there was a big swing and a miss for me. I mean, there is that.
There are 4 cameras on you, man. They all saw you.
Nobody bats 1,000,
names.
I guess.
Oh, there's cameras?
Yeah. Unfortunately or unfortunately.
No, very fortunate to work with Ken. Ken really goes above and beyond. He cares. He's ethical. He makes sure things get done. And I was looking back, I'm like, yeah, I don't think we've had anything. And I see lots of other co-team leaders. I see lots of other brokerage firms. People really get into it and it ends. And I don't ever see that happening here.
Well, I think it's interesting because, we're in the office a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mike and Ken will come in and start tearing things down, putting things up,
Yeah.
Adding TVs, adding monitors, adding different things. So these are guys that get their hands dirty as a broker.
Yeah.
I was definitely not used to that.
We'll talk about a little more about this throughout these segments that we go through, but I still remember a lot of the, I call them like catchphrases that I learned from both of you guys early on. I mean, my first training classes at Red One, Ken, with you and with you as well, Mike. I can't wait to dive into some of that, but we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, guys. We'll be right back. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the AMP podcast. We want to give a quick shout out to one of our great sponsors at Safe Pro Home Warranty. Diana and Clayton have got you covered. If you move into your house within the first year and something goes wrong, like your hot water tank, your air conditioner, or your furnace, they are going to help you cover the cost of that so you don't have to do the whole thing out of pocket. So reach out to Diana and Clayton today to get your coverage set up at Safe Pro Home Warranty. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to the AMP podcast. This is season 2, episode 12. We're calling it 2 to Tango, and we're talking with Mike Hall and Ken Fairchild, 2 of the principal brokers of Red One Realty. I'm joined by my cohort, as always, Justin Humphreys. Justin, we're going to call this segment Action Plan.
Yes.
Sponsored by Safe Pro Warranty.
So Safe Pro Home Warranty. The AMP Action Plan is a segment where we talk about 1 or 2 actionable tips that we train on in the AMP platform that agents can use to improve their business. We like to highlight those.
Let me ask you about yours.
Mine was, so I just said it, I picked up a lot of great anecdotes from these two guys, especially early on in some of the first training classes I attended at Red One Realty all the way back in 2019. And one of the things that always rings out in my mind when I'm thinking about my daily tasks is the hour of power. Mike coined that phrase years ago, and I think about it every day, and I talk to AMP agents about it every day. Mike, what does the hour of power mean for you, and how important is that to an agent's business?
I think it's everything to start an agent's business, because I talk to a lot of agents and I ask them, what did you do yesterday to build your business? And you can see the delay and the hesitation. And I think when an agent really gets serious and stops treating it like a hobby and starts treating it like a business, they schedule their hour of power where they prospect, they do something to build their business. I don't care if it's calls, texts, emails, social, something during that hour, and don't override it. During that hour, you do something to build your business, and that's the most important time for an agent. And when they override it, that's when they get on the roller coaster and they have a $20,000 month and then a 0 month.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Prospecting, the hour of power, often is overcomplicated and underestimated, but it's really important. So the hour of power, guys, if you're watching this, it's important. And what that means is at least an hour of prospecting every day that you sit down to focus on real estate.
Think about all the tools through boot camp, which is the Red One, one of the Red One training classes, through Survive and Thrive. You add on to that, on top of that, AMP, and all of the tools that we are training new and experienced agents on. You could easily spend an hour a day on 4 or 5 of them, and your day would be full and your business would grow. So it's critical.
Absolutely. It's one of the things when I train with agents, we try to identify what we call their pillars of prospecting, the things that they're comfortable with, they're going to be effective to fill their pipeline. And I tell every one of them, Mike Hall says, hour of power, it's got to be an hour a day. So that's my AMP action plan, Mark. Did you have anything that you wanted to touch on?
Yeah, this is going to go in a different direction, but I think it's important, especially when you are more experienced, you have business coming into your real estate business. One of the things that's important that you should actively participate in is giving yourself those breaks in between the hours of power to stack something on. This is intense, focused work. We ask this, and I've heard Ken ask it as well. This is a great question to ask, certainly new agents. Is real estate hard? And the answer every time, you go to Hondros, you get licensed, you get sponsored, you've gone through classes, you think, okay, that's over with, good. And then you show up at your brokerage and looking around, what do I do now? These hours of power on these specific tools designed to grow your real estate business, you've got to take a break in between those. So schedule yourself 5 or 10 minutes. Read a chapter of a book. Go out and walk around on the grass barefoot. But definitely, as part of your action plan, give yourself that downtime so you can take a breath and recharge and then get back after it again. Be very focused for those periods of time, but do not put them on top of each other.
I walk around the office. When I'm at the office, you guys ever see the other companies, there's people constantly walking around the office. And I was thinking, why are they doing that? But that's what I started doing, getting a little bit of exercise, breaking up the monotony of, being at the desk. And Mike, you said something interesting that reminds me of something that I heard Ken say in one of the first classes that I attended at Red One Realty when we were way, way back in the old office, is that during those, when you're an agent starting out and you're building your business, you're going to have those uncomfortable peaks and valleys. And one thing Ken emphasized that I relay to new agents and any agents that I train with is you may go through uncomfortable times in real estate where you don't close a deal for a month or 2 months or 3 months. And it's important that you don't get discouraged and you stay disciplined to those tasks that are going to get your business to where it is consistent. And I remember, Ken making an emphasis on that, and that always stuck with me. And it's something I still tell agents today.
Oh, indeed. I mean, there's very few agents, at least I've met, that literally every month they're just banging out closing. And I tell people, and it's a warning in essence, that I tell them, when we talk about that hour of power, it's easy to think, oh, things are going well now. They're rolling. I got a couple closings coming up. I'm working with a couple clients. You take your eye off the prize. And the hour of power never can cease. Because I remember, I tell people very specifically, I remember it because it was a very uncomfortable feeling. In one of my peak years as being a realtor, I remember that summer I had 12, 13 people in contract. I mean, I'm thinking there's no way I have lead generation going on. Everything is just clicking on all cylinders. And I'm thinking, I'll at least have 1 to 3 closings a month for the rest of my career, right?
Sure.
Just no way that I can go from 12 to 13 to 0. That fall, winter, 3 months with no closing.
Yeah.
And it's just so easy. What's dangerous about it is you think, well, I have all this play money. I made all this money over the summer. What new big toy do I want to go buy? And I always also coach new agents. You need to always have 3 to 6 months of your monthly budget in reserves because those lulls are coming for us all.
Yeah.
And whether or not it's you losing sight of your prospecting or the market taking a big change, they're coming for us all.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because you can draw, and I could see it in your eyes when you were saying that, you can draw a parallel line from a transaction that's going to close, the client that you're assisting, right back to where that started, what seed you planted.
Indeed.
And generally it's 30, 60, or 90 days out. You go back 2, 3, 4 months and oh, that's when that started. And when you're focused, as we all should be, on assisting our clients and getting them through a transaction, we can give ourselves a break. The focus comes off of, well, what got me here? We have to learn how to dovetail running a business versus chasing transactions.
Yeah. I always cite Mike. I tell people when we meet to go over their prospecting, I say, Mike Hall says hour of power. We had Justin Phillips, who's a DR Horton rep, who's top 1% in the country, sold 120 new build homes last year. He says every agent needs to be prospecting at least 10 hours a week. So that's when we meet with these agents, we try to we time block with them and try to find those windows to where they can do that consistently, identify what tasks they're going to do, and let them grow their business.
And this is not looking beyond the fact that we all have these categories in our life, right? You got family, you got faith, even if it's in yourself. You got a social life. You got to date your wife. You got to date your fiance. And many agents have a work outside of real estate. It's especially critical to time block and manage your time and understand those peaks and valleys. It's a great question, man.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, with that, we're going to move on to our third segment, which is the Agent Spotlight, one of my favorite, where we're going to pick a couple AMP agents to just kind of talk about and give some praise to. Mark, who did you have on the docket today that you wanted to highlight?
That's a great question. You know who I have on the docket?
Who?
Sitting right here with me. Justin
Thank you.
Humphreys. Oh, no, sorry. Justin Humphreys joined the AMP platform about 4 years ago, 4.5.
Yeah, I think
You
about
were-
4.5
You were
years
like
ago.
the
Yeah.
sixth person to join the platform, and worked himself in a position of being a co-leader. Very consistent with your application of the tools that you've been trained on. You run a very good real estate business.
Thank you.
And I'm tickled to death to have you as a co-leader on this platform and to call you a friend. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Shout out to Justin Humphreys.
Mentors are important. We heard Ken say earlier that Mike was his original mentor, and I think in this business, like it's important to have a mentor, somebody that you can call when you have a question about a transaction or anything real estate related. And I certainly have that with you, Mark. When I first joined AMP, that was the big value for me, was being able to get somebody on the phone like that has 32 years of experience in the business and can answer pretty much any question that I have.
If I don't know the answer, I tell everybody to call these two.
we default
I'm
to you guys.
protecting myself and Red One by
Absolutely.
That's right.
But
who's your person?
well, it's funny that you mentioned me because I wanted to highlight the other AMP leaders. This year we have implemented a lot of new value adds to AMP, like our client events, our semi-annual client events,
Yep. Dinner.
our AMP coursework that we're completing right now. That'll be a college level coursework that AMP agents can complete and get certified, AMP certified. The top producers dinner. So all of that would not be possible without the great leadership team that we have meaning Dana Kitchen, Sheila Howe, Gina Warner, Malika Smith, Mark D'Andrea. There's a lot of great stuff that we're doing now and will be doing in the future. So pats on the back all around today.
If the six of us can stay together like these two have, we're going to be just fine.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah, we've heard numerous agents come in and say how great each of those leaders have done and really impacted their lives. And I think that's what really drives us to keep going is when they come in and they're able to leave those full-time jobs or they're able to put their kids through college because we're helping them build a business.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had, a couple of the AMP leaders three of them have come from full-time corporate or otherwise jobs where they're making good money, and their goal was to come into real estate and replace that income. And that's happened, and they've since become leaders themselves. So it's incredible.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
Great stuff, guys. With that, we're going to take a second commercial break, and we'll be right back with our Ask the Broker segment. So stick around. Thank you to our sponsor, Vault Title. The way they can help you is prior to closing, Vault Title will conduct your title search, coordinate all the aspects of the title services with the appropriate parties. They're going to prepare all your necessary documents, schedule your settlement. During the closing, they're going to be accounting for all your funds, reviewing closing documents, dispersing all the mortgage loan and sale proceeds. And after closing, they're going to satisfy all lender requirements, record your transfer documents, and issue your title insurance policy. Whether you're a buyer or seller or an agent looking for a great title company, reach out to Vault Title today, 614-324-2580, or email them team@vault-title.com.
Welcome back to the AMP podcast. That stands for Agent Mentorship Platform. Thanks a lot for liking and subscribing it and downloading it and sharing with your friends. We really appreciate it. Podcast is growing. And we're joined today by Mike Hall and Ken Fairchild, two of our principal brokers, along with my buddy Justin Humphreys. Justin, this particular section is called Ask the Broker. What do you have to ask our two of our four brokers?
Well, it's typically Ask the Coach, but since the brokers are here, I figure why not take advantage of their time and ask, what do you guys think as brokers is the number one thing or a great tip that agents can do to be successful in our business?
Well, I'll at least take it from the new agent perspective, because that's what I spent a lot of my career and time here as a broker focusing on. And really, obviously we've talked about the hour of power. I'd say that goes without saying for agents at any level. But for new agents, it's eating, breathing, sleeping real estate with any time you have. We have to realize that a lot of people get in this industry part-time. And for our brokerage, we're completely fine with that. But any free time you have, it's putting yourself in an opportunity to learn something. So whether or not that's a class, it's a CE, whatever it is, but especially our training program is the first and foremost. So it's diving into training, learning everything you don't know, right? Hondros and the schools will tell you, we're not here to help you grow your business. It's to help you pass that exam.
Right.
Our structured training program is tried and true over years of redevelopment to help those agents get their business off the ground. So it is first and foremost making sure that you just do not, that's your first time blocking as a new agent. Do not miss a training session, right?
Yep.
From there, it's, as I mentioned, eating, breathing, sleeping real estate, always being around somebody to which you can pick up and continue learning from.
So for me, I hear two things that we talk about a lot. One, Mark calls it imbuing your world with real estate, being open to those opportunities. And the second is time blocking, like you said.
Yep.
I think about Kelly Goodman. She's a person that digs in, attends every training, goes back through the old training catalogs and watches all the videos, absorbs all that, and increases her knowledge. But go ahead, Mark.
Two things. Red1agent.com, guys. I looked at it again today. I look at it every day.
I look at it every day,
There,
too.
there are hundreds of links there, and they cover everything from A to Z as it relates to real estate. Follow that up with boot camp, which is a requirement here at Red One, and it's you'll learn a lot. Follow that up with Survive and Thrive, and then follow that up with AMP. There are lots of opportunities to imbue your world with real estate around here.
Layers and layers of training and support, for sure.
Without a doubt. And all for way less than anybody else would want.
Yeah, the red1agent.com website it's in my favorites bar. I use it almost daily, whether it be standard purchase contract clauses, which is a big one that I'm sure a lot of people utilize it for, logos, how to get business or how to get your offer accepted in a competitive market, how to grow your business and get more listings. There's a ton of information and knowledge on there that you can access.
And if you join AMP, you've got 4.5 years of videos from our past classes. So you combine red1agent.com and the AMP videos and all the training through boot camp, you can't help but build a business.
Absolutely. Mark, you had a Ask the Broker question.
I have two, one for each.
Okay.
Mike, you and I and Ken and others at Red One, including Justin, we were talking, this was 3 years ago, or going on 3 years ago, about revenue share. And nobody knows what revenue share means. So tell us about why Red One Realty has adopted that as being one of the options for our agents, and what is revenue share?
Yeah, so we always want to be the best value for agents. And we take a look at market trends, and we see a lot of agents leaving the traditional model and going over to the revenue share models. And if you were just to come up to me and say, hey, you want to share revenue with me? I'm like, well, I'm in. I can see why they're doing that. So I think we have a couple different plans. The low cap plan, we looked at rev share with that, and there's just not enough money to compete with the other ones out there. So we said, if we go and have a little bit higher fees, we're still able to have lower fees than all the other rev share companies out there. But then there's enough to share that revenue where, let's say I bring Ken on board, the revenue that comes into the company is shared with me because I'm bringing him on board. And ideally, I provide additional value to Ken because I'm getting part of that revenue. So it's really a win-win. And then when we set it up, we said, look, we don't want people to just go out there and recruit. We want value. So the most revenue I get is if Ken brings on Justin. That way it continues on and we continue building value. But it's the revenue coming into the company that we share with the agents.
And are we able to talk about the STOCK piece or not?
Yes.
There's also stock available when the day comes, if and when Red One, I'll say if and when Red One goes public. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so as you come on board, just like most of the other rev share companies, whenever you cap, you're able to get that back in stock. Whenever you sell properties, you're able to get stock. And whenever someone brings someone on board, you're able to get stock. And I think that's different from some of the other companies because some of the other companies just give you stock if you recruit. Look, we're not an MLM company. We're a real estate brokerage firm. We're focused on rewarding people that's helping people with home ownership. So our goal is to go public in the future. Right now, the stock's like an IOU. It's a restricted stock unit. And then when we go public, that will convert to actual stock.
I got to write down restricted stock unit because I talk to people about it every day and I've never used that. Ken, I remember when we first met. And of course, I said, does anybody mind if I start? And they both laughed immediately. It's as if they'd known me for years. I can talk a lot, as you can tell. And I just expressed my desire and dream and vision for wanting to coach, train, and mentor folks. And one of the things I said that day was, gee, I want to be able to use all the vendors and folks that I'm used to using. I don't want to be told who to use. And no agent who has a business going really wants to be told what to do. So in that vein, sorry, that's not a really good setup. Why affiliated business arrangements? What's the positive piece behind affiliated business arrangements? So Red One Realty has Vault Title, Motto Mortgage, Safe Pro. We've got a lot of folks that we engage with. Why do we go there?
At the end of the day, we've talked about it several times. It's value. Right, it's value add, and in these circumstances, when we have some kind of minority interest in these affiliated businesses, what we're able to do is control quality. And when we really looked at the people that we ended up partnering with, there were companies that we could have partnered with that would have been more profitable and we would have made more money. But as you can tell by our low cost business model, at the brokerage, That's not our first priority. It's not even close. It's not even in the top, several reasons, right? So the first and foremost thing is who is going to provide great value to the agents, not only the agents, but their clients, right? So those are and it was a lot of the people that we had prior relationships with when we were realtors.
Trusted.
Who provided great value to us when there was no, benefit other than the partnership. And so those are the people we turn to, and that's a lot of our partners because we already know, like, and trust them, and we are confident that they're going to provide that value to the agents and low cost for their services to pass along to the clients. So it was a very delicate, those were important decisions, but at the end of the day, it came down to relationships that we'd built and people that we trusted. And now we're excited that, when agents, usually when agents call us complaining about lenders, title companies, inspectors, they're very rarely, if ever, are the companies that we've partnered with.
Right.
We tell them, well, it's kind of why we recommend who we recommend, because these are people we know, like, and trust.
I absolutely love that.
So one of the things I love about being at the office is that if I have a title question, I can walk down the hallway and ask Nicole. Or if you're not at the office, you can call Vault Title and ask them and get their assistance. They do a wonderful job. If I have a lending question, I can go down to the hall and talk to Kyle and talk to Kelly.
Yep.
So it's I love those partnerships and the environment that you guys have created with those as well.
Gentlemen, thank you for that. Appreciate it. You want to roll right into Mindset Matters?
Sure.
Sponsored by Covita Lending.
Well, we're gonna take one quick commercial break and we'll be right back. Quick shout out to our lender, Covita Lending. Guys, in today's marketplace, there are many lending options, so why choose Covita? At Covita, they ease the burden of financing by offering a worry-free transaction from pre-approval to close, keeping you educated, updated, and in the know every step of the way. That's Covita Lending's pledge to you. Reach them at 740-255-6220 or email steve@covitalending.com.
Welcome back to the AMP Podcast, standing for Agent Mentorship Platform. Appreciate you guys liking and subscribing to the podcast. Mike, thanks for being here. Ken, thanks for being here. Justin, as always, appreciate you. We're rolling into Mindset Matters.
Yeah, Mindset Matters is a segment where we talk about a psychological aspect of real estate, because there is a lot that goes into it, whether it be an inspirational quote or story or practical advice on handling, rejection, staying organized, maintaining your work-life balance. I had a great one today. It's a mindset that I inherited and learned from Mike. Something I've heard him talk about on his coaching sessions that really rings true, and that I talk with a lot of our AMP agents about as well. Is it's a quote, and the quote is, "Done is better than perfect." And I want to explain how
I want to explain why we're all laughing about that right now. Done is better than
done
perfect.
is better
Go
than
ahead, sorry.
perfect. When I hear that, I think, and I've experienced it, getting something done, even if it's not exactly how you want it to be, is much more. It's much better for you than micro analyzing every little thing that might go into it. And it could be anything. I've experienced it with a lot of different things. In our business, there's a lot of shiny objects out there that can distract you from doing the things you need to be doing. And you can get bogged down on anything you work on, whether it be your newsletter, your geo-farming ads, your messaging when you're prospecting to your clients, your
Social media posts.
Social media posts is a big one. What kind of closing gift, all those different things you can overanalyze and have analysis paralysis. So that's what it means to me is, hey, get it done, get it out there, and then come back and tweak it when you have time to do that. Is that what done is better than perfect means, Mike?
That's exactly what it is. And I take it a little extreme, and Kit lets me, every single time because, tell people, if you can get to 90%, throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. Obviously not contracts and things like that, but if you're doing a video or a podcast like this or something, just go do it instead of sitting there doing nothing because it's not perfect.
We often ask, the agents, Ken, I might ask you, what are you doing? You'd say, I'm getting ready. Getting ready for what? I'm getting ready to get ready. Eventually, you just got to get it done, even if it's not perfect. Well, how does done, since we were all laughing earlier, I got to get you in here. Done is better than perfect. How does that strike you, Ken?
No, it's very funny. This is a dynamic we've had over years. It's I'm the the grammatical check. I'm the person that checks that. But the reality is, as much as I tease Mike and I was saying like, oh my gosh, all you people are enabling him to not get things actually done. But the reality is, it is a crippling a thing that agents a crutch.
Yeah.
That they will use like, I just don't like it enough. So when you are talking about just making a quick live video, making a quick podcast, just throw it out there. People aren't analyzing it the way you are.
Right.
So it does hold very true, and we try to push agents more to be brave enough to get out there. And I'm as guilty as anybody. I should be recording more videos. I should be doing more podcasts and things like that. And I used to be earlier in my life, I was the definition of paralysis through analysis. I'm definitely an overanalyzer. So I've tried to get a little bit better at that and try to lean a little bit more into where Mike's at. Hopefully Mike has leaned a little bit. Now it's 90.
It's a happy medium.
You can hear now it's 90%. It was maybe 80% before, and that was probably generous, but no. But that's once again a great dynamic of us. We're able to each get a little bit better in that. But it's things like that. Agents, at the end of the day, your business is either growing or it's dying, and the easiest way for that to happen is for them to just say, I just don't like it enough. No. You got to get out there because the public isn't paying attention. I've seen crazy videos, live videos where people's hair is blown all over the place, and it's not perfect, but people love it.
They still saw it. They still saw it.
Authentic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, Red One offers so much that's done already for you that you can worry about the perfect later. Great example of that is the newsletter. A lot of people hem and haw about their newsletter. I'm like, brother, nobody's going to look at it anyways. Not a lot of people are going to open it anyways. Get it out there. And Red One's got one ready to rock and roll for you. It's there in
5
bold
clicks
trail.
and it's out.
It's out to your whole database. Logos. I mean, video editing stuff. Ideas for social media posts. Red One has a lot of that stuff ready to go, ready to deploy for you, so that you can get it done and worry about being perfect later.
You would think that we had set this up because my mindset matters dovetails with what you gentlemen were just talking about. Agents that we are coaching and training and mentoring, you help us build a foundation for AMP. Thank you. We are helping agents build a foundation for their business. And so we find ourselves in a situation where it's just got to be perfect. I have to know all there is to know about the MLS, all there is to know about .loop, all there is to know about Bold Trail, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things I have found in the last 4.5, 5 years with Red One is if we can get the agents understanding that all they want to do is be of assistance. I've heard that coming out of both of you. You haven't said it exactly that way. Maybe you said it earlier, Mike. You just want to be of assistance. You want to educate, bring facts to something, bring a level of expertise to it. Well, if you go into every situation, open houses, geo-farming, cold calling, I don't care, social media posting, if you can take the approach and have it on your heart and in your head, I just want to be of assistance to the most people that I can be. That takes a lot of pressure off it having to be perfect. I'm just calling you, texting you, emailing you, direct messaging you, sending you a GeoFarm postcard to be of assistance. Make that a mindset as a new agent. Make that a mindset as a new agent. Can I repeat that? You just want to be of assistance, guys. Yes, something must be sold. And something must be purchased in order for the parties to be happy and for anybody to make money. I get it. We're not running from the fact that we sell homes for a living. But the fact of the matter is we bring facts, education, assistance, and expertise to it, and that's all I'm offering you. There's my mindset matters.
I love that. That's great. Guys, that's all the segments we have. I thought to a nice send-off, a question I wanted to ask both of you would be, what's the most fun thing about your job? Ken, I'll start with you. What's the most fun thing about being one of the principal brokers at Red One Realty?
Well, we've clearly established it's not working with Mike.
Yes, yes.
Jeez.
That's been clarified. Gina, have you got that over there? You've clearly understood that that's an issue. All right, thank you.
I don't I think rewarding is more where I go with fun. I find like I have the most fun in life when I feel like I've made the biggest impact. And, so what's most rewarding is the fact the more agents that we are able to help. And it's so funny because so many agents will call me, and some of them call me more than others. And every single time it's like, oh my gosh, I'm sure I'm your troubled child. And, and oh, I'm so sorry I'm bothering you at 8:30 at night. And I have to tell them, I've said it a million times out of my mouth, this is what I love doing.
Right.
Like I wouldn't leave my phone on until 10 o'clock at night when I finally go to sleep for agents to call if that wasn't meaningful to me.
Yes.
That's what gives my life a lot of meaning and value.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not exactly what I would call fun, but to me, I'll take that all day over fun. It's extremely rewarding, the support that we're able to provide agents. When, a lot of times their question, it's not the end of the world, right? But they don't know that.
Right.
This is the first time they've been in this situation, and they are petrified.
Yeah.
And they're probably nervous calling me at 8 o'clock. And to have me pick up the phone, or Mike or anybody on the management team, get their problem solved in probably 2 to 4 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
And we go about our business, but they sleep well that night. It's just an extremely rewarding thing that I don't know how many, of all the other professions I've had in my life, I've never experienced anything like that.
Yeah, very fulfilling to be of assistance to those
Tremendous.
Can I just respond to that real quick?
Absolutely.
So what clearly came out of that, for me, what I heard you say is when these folks are engaging with you, what you're helping them do is grow that courage, including the phone call to you, right?
Indeed.
Grow that courage because fear doesn't go away. Fear and anxiety doesn't go away. Do you get nervous talking in front of us once a month on your coaching call? All the time.
I think everyone gets nervous. That's where courage comes from. There is no courage without fear.
Absolutely.
Are we now giving Mike credit for being courageous or something? I mean, is this where this podcast is going to wrap
I
up?
like where this is going.
Well, you get the last word, so why don't you give it to us?
If I could tell a new agent anything, I'd say small daily actions lead to massive commissions. When you don't want to do the newsletter, tell yourself, small daily actions lead to massive commissions. When you don't want to do the open house, small daily actions lead to massive commissions. And I think for a mindset, getting them in there doing that is huge. And all I want to do is be inspirational. I want to give them all the tools, resources, but then inspire them to go do it. So I think that's kind of where I've shifted from our power to, hey, let's create a great follow-up system. Let's master the follow-up game and make sure that you are building your careers.
Yeah, that's great.
You can put a pin in it unless you've got to. Go ahead.
No, we really appreciate you guys being here. Would you take a minute just to plug some of the great assistants, the versions of assistants you have out there? Mike, I know you have the Tech Tuesdays, and you have a monthly mastermind call as well.
Yeah, there's a group coaching call. There's a Tech Tuesday. We do random CEs. So everything is on red1agent.com under the calendar, and we open it up to everyone.
Yeah, and
You're
Ken,
on YouTube, right?
YouTube,
Mike Hall Coaching.
Mike Hall Coaching on YouTube, and Ken, you're integral in the Survive and Thrive and the boot camp. So where if agents are looking for that, where can they find information on that?
I mean, really the same thing like Mike said on Red One Agent, the calendar, you're going to see it. But we're always reaching out to any agents that come on board. As Mark said, the boot camp is a requirement. We're talking about, hey, how do you fill out those darn contracts?
Yeah,
kind of critical before you start helping clients, right?
Right.
But yeah, we reach out to them. They don't have to wait and just go to a calendar. The week before, we're reaching out to everyone, say, hey, listen, here's another opportunity to attend boot camp, which we hold monthly, and then the Survive and Thrive is a continual class every single Wednesday evening. So it rotates 16 sessions, and I'm working on just enhancing that now until the end of the year. So we're even able to provide more value in those classes in 2026.
Great. Guys, this has been Season 2, Episode 12, 2 to Tango with our principal brokers, Ken Fairchild and Mike Hall. We really appreciate you guys being with us. We wouldn't be able to do any of this without our sponsors, Red One Realty, Vault Title, Covita Lending, and Safe Pro Home Warranty. That's a wrap on this episode.
Guys, appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.